Hello fellow sorcerers, I would like to share with you my build guide and tips for Blizzard Ice Spike, which is the best for farming the pit material and push for higher tier. Blizzard is a current meta build for sorcerer this season, same as season 3, because sadly other sorcerer build has been nerfed and only Blizzard left untouched since the launch of the game. This build is focused on offensive, which works great in lower pit tier and open world content. Nevertheless, you can use this build for higher difficulty dungeon by making few adjustments, which I will cover in the guide. Blizzard Ice Spike damage come from Ice Spike, but not Blizzard itself. Therefore, to scale its damage, you should just add as many multiplicative damage in your build, critical chance, attack speed, and resource generation or reduction. Ice Spike will not get any benefit from the Blizzard skill rank for this reason. Ice Spike also will not benefit from anything that buff core skill include Elemental Dominance, Accelerating, and Elementalist Aspect. Ice Spike damage scale well with attack speed, but you need to have enough resource generation and reduction in order to keep up with the speed. Blizzard has a delay damage feature, as you can see from the tooltip, that when you cast Blizzard, it will continue do damage for 12 seconds. Understand this feature is very important in maximizing its damage. Example for boss fight. You can pre-cast the Blizzard stack multiple instants before boss spawn and instantly kill him. For mobs clearing, the best playstyle is to cast few Blizzard on a large group of mobs, wait until they are freeze, and walk through them. The mobs will die eventually from the Blizzard stacks, so you don't need to stay waiting them. This will speed up your farming. Let's talk about the gear. For helm, I use normal helm with greater affix on intelligent. It is best for damage. Intelligent gives you multiplicative damage. 100 intelligence equal to 10% multiplicative damage. Blizzard does not benefit from the extra skill points from Chakra. Nevertheless, I will use Chakra to push harder content with the 20% damage reduction, extra maximum life, cooldown reduction, and the extra skill points can be used for defensive purpose. I do not recommend you use God Slayer Crown for pit and dungeon, as it only works on elite and boss with 12 seconds cooldown, as Blizzard has the delay damage effect, so you may trigger the God Slayer damage too early before your ice spikes reach peak damage stacks. But for single boss farming, it is the best, as you can pre-cast before boss spawn and instantly kill him. Like in this example, I precast Blizzard and Grigor spawned and dead almost instantly. It was hilarious. I use Concussive Strike, which gives me 20% multiplicative damage on boss when stagger. You notice I am using Topaz Gem for all armor piece, as in Season 4. Each Topaz gives 100 intelligent equal to 10% multiplicative damage. For other helm affix, look for armor and maximum life. Tempering, I go for total armor. It is fine if you get maximum life. The objective is to ensure all your gear meet the armor cap requirement, which is 9,320, and the rest should go into maximum life. Second tempering is % lucky hit chance to freeze, which is for stagger the boss. It is fine if you get others, like chance to immobilize, as it still add to the boss stagger bar. For chest, it is same with greater affix on intelligent, armor, and maximum life affix. Same tempering with total armor and % lucky hit chance to freeze. But if you are already over cap with armor, you can go for maximum life. The legendary aspect for chest is Snowveil, which gives you unstoppable and recharge your mana instantly. Nevertheless, the extra armor is not important if you have already reached armor cap. If you want to be more defensive, you can use Snow Guard, which gives you 30% damage reduction. It is better than ever living in pit, because you can't make the one-shoot shadow boss vulnerable, so you will not have damage reduction with ever living in the boss room. The glove should get greater affix on intelligent, attack speed, and critical chance. Tempering with ice spike damage and chance to freeze for boss stagger. Frozen Tundra aspect will be used for a larger ice spike explosion coverage, which is important to clear the mobs. For pants, I use Tybalt's Will for the 20% multiplicative damage. It also helps in mana regeneration, as you can top up by using Ice Armor, Flame Shield, or Teleport. If you want more defense for higher difficulty pit, just use normal paint with Ever-Living aspect. For boots, I use Isu's Heirloom. Remember, always use Evade when it is on cooldown. When you evade with Isu's, your moment speed will increase, which will increase your critical chance together. You can see in my video critical chance increase from 48% to 73% after evade. The weapon is the most important part. You need to use two-handed staff, which double your ice spike damage with glacial aspect, the main source the damage. The weapon affix always go for greater affix on intelligent, and then resource cost reduction, critical strike damage, or maximum life. For tempering, go for elemental surge and try to get a shadow or poison damage, which will increase your Talrasha stack to +4 with 15% multiplicative damage. Salvage the gear if you are not getting either one, as this is the most important tempering. Second tempering is ice spike damage. Is okay if you can't get that, as it is additive damage. Do not use blizzard size, as this will reduce the density of ice spikes and affect your single target damage on boss. On amulet, the best affix is attack speed, resource reduction, generation, and critical chance. Tempering go for ice spike damage and resource cost reduction. Legendary use Ancient Flame for a massive 75% attack speed to stack many ice spikes for a burst damage. For ring, always Talrasha. The best second ring slot is Ring of Starless Sky, which gives you 40% multiplicative damage and a massive resource cost reduction. If you don't have Ring of Starless Sky, you can use a normal ring with resource cost reduction affix and resource generation tempering. Also, other good affix include attack speed, critical chance, and critical strike damage. The aspect on ring, you can choose Storm Well, but I heard it is bugged currently. You can either use Inner Calm or Control, which the former you need to stand still, and the later only work on boss after stagger. It all depends on your playstyle. Let's go over skill tree. We will start with the standard Fire Bolt. To unlock the rest of skill, select Frozen Orb all the way to Greater Frozen for vulnerability. This is just for the enchantment. I put 1 point in Devastation, as I need that to unlock the remaining skill tree. Do not put point on Elemental Dominance, as it only buff core skill. Ice Spike Blizzard damage is neither core or mastery, so will receive no benefit from this passive. The next one is Flame Shield. Go all the way to Mystical Flame Shield. This is not mandatory, as I just have too many free skill points. Shimmering Flame Shield is currently bug. If it is fixed in future, you can put a point on it. Teleportation, go all the way to Shimmering Teleport. Ice Armor, go all the way to Shimmering Ice Armor. Put 1 point to Elemental Attunement and 3 points to Glass Cannon. For Ice Blade, choose Summoned Ice Blades. Lightning Spear, you select Invoke Lightning Spear for instant crowd control and boss stagger. For the passive, put all points on Mana Shield and Protection. Just put 1 point in Blizzard, as it is not the main damage, and select Mage's Blizzard for the duration. Maximize Icy Veil and Cold Front for more crowd control and easier boss stagger. Choose Inner Flame to unlock Devouring Blaze, which will boost your critical strike damage. As for the next passive, Maximum Permafrost, Icy Touch, and Heart Frost. Put points in Frigid Breeze if you struggle with mana issue, or you do not have any other place to spend your skill points. For key passive, you need to select Isu's if you choose Ancient Flame. Currently, we still can use Isu's to trigger the attack speed, although Blizzard mentioned they have fixed the bug which this passive applied damage on none-fire skill by using Firebolt enchantment. I think at least the Ancient Flame effect's still working, but I am not sure about the extra critical damage. If you do not use Ancient Flame, you can use Vair's Mastery for multiplicative damage on close enemy and the damage reduction. You can consider Shatter for fast mobs clearing, but it will have no benefit when fighting boss. Do not select Avalanche, as Ice Spike do not benefit from the damage boost. It only helps saving mana. As for enchantment, use Frozen Orb for extra freezing and vulnerability. Second enchantment is Firebolt for devouring blaze with extra critical strike damage, and enable the damage on burning enemy with Flame Feeder from your glyph. Let's go over to Paragon board. It is beneficial to use 7 glyph plus 2 legendary node for cold build. This will give you maximum multiplicative damage. I will briefly go through the Paragon board. The detail you can find in the planner at the description section. The first glyph is Elementalist, which you always put at the board which has non-physical damage nearby, as this glyph gives bonus to neighboring node for non-physical damage and damage reduction. Select all non-physical damage node, which will increase your damage in Frigid Fate. Moving up is Icefall board. Select the legendary node and plug in the Exploit glyph. Select the non-physical damage node. You may notice there is some requirement to unlock the secondary bonus of the node, for example, Willpower and Dexterity. The requirement will go higher if you put the board further away from your first board. That's the reason we put Icefall board here. As Icefall legendary node and glyph socket are far apart, it will be beneficial to use it earlier so you can use the branching to reach other boards. Moving to the right is Enchantment Master board and Tactician glyph. Again, this glyph will benefit the non-physical damage of nearby nodes. Also pick the non-physical damage nodes on the further right. Moving up is Frigid Fate board. Try to achieve as close to the maximum 30% as possible on this legendary node. We use Stalagmite glyph, which gives additional critical chance. With Isu's, you should reach close to 100% critical chance. Move back to the left is Elemental Summoner board with Destruction glyph. Moving up is Burning Instinct board with Control glyph. The last one is Static Surge board with Flame Feeder. I think we have covered every part of the build. Let's talk about the approach of farming the pit. I feel that level 65 pit is the sweet spot for flash farming, as you can kill the boss in one stagger cycle. If you don't kill him during the first cycle, you will need to spend more time dodging the one-shoot mechanic, and it will be less efficient. You can try higher at pit 70 if you feel comfortable with the pace. Nevertheless, the number of Neath Iron drop from pit 65 and 70 just increase a little bit. To play Ice Spike efficiently, the first thing is cast Lightning Spear to stun the mobs as you do more damage when crowd control enemies. Cast Ice Blade after Lightning Spear, no longer active for more vulnerability application. You should rotate between Ice Armor and Flame Shield for protection. Ice Armor will also recharge you with Snow-Veiled Aspect, plus Tybalt's Will. For easier pit like T65, I will cast Flame Shield when I run out of mana while Ice Armor is still on cooldown, so I can trigger Unstoppable and replenish my mana. You just need teleportation to keep you safe. Sometimes I even use teleportation to recharge mana if I feel safe. You can teleport back or teleport to the wall at your side, so you will not be too far away from the mobs. Try not to teleport to the front if your Flame Shield or Ice Armor is still on cooldown, as you may be surrounded by a big group of mobs. The final part is killing the boss. cast ice armor before you move up to the boss, as some of them will attack you from far the moment they appear. Just keep cast Blizzard and use Lightning Spear to recharge the Tal Rasha stack and apply vulnerability. When you are out of mana, you should stop cast Blizzard and wait for the Shadow Boss appear. Cast Flame Shield only when Shadow Boss already released the one-shoot mechanic towards you. Your mana will become full again, and keep spam the Blizzard on the boss under the protection of Flame Shield. Remember to cast Ice Blade or Lightning Spear for vulnerability. The boss should be stagger after that. Use teleportation to recharge your mana and continue spam Blizzard. The boss should die while in stagger if you are following this build and the fighting approach. If he's still alive in low HP and spawn Shadow Boss Agawan, just run to the edge of the room and wait for the remaining Ice Spike to finish off. That's all of my Blizzard Ice Spike build guide and pit farming approach. Hope you enjoy the video. Please consider subscribe to receive future update of Diablo 4 content. Thank you all, and I wish you have a nice day.